because people always ask me, they were like, hey, when you were, and what was funny, and I'm sure you found this too, the biggest and leanest I ever was when I ate the most. So when I was eating like 7,000 or 8,000 calories, I was, 300, or 6'6", I was like 308 at like 7% body fat, 8%. And I remember like it was pretty consistent, like 6,000 to 7,000 plus calorie meals. And I remember thinking like, this is fucking awful, how much I hate food. But then all of a sudden, when you cut the meals back, all of a sudden I wasn't nearly as lean and couldn't carry as much muscle, which is so counterproductive. So most people have no concept of what it's like to eat that much. So just give us an idea of like on a daily basis, what you consumed in that.
So like you said, it's like putting coals in a fire, right? So the more you feed it, the bigger the flame, the more heat you get, right? So that's really what I try to tell people is the people that eat once a day or twice a day, like your metabolism's dead in the water. Like you're not going to lean out that way. So that's why we eat.
You mean you're against fasting and like this somehow magic where if I starve myself and eat one meal, I'll be shredded?
No, you're definitely going to drop some fat, but to maintain and to build muscle at the same time, you have to have that consistent flow. So,
sure.
Fasting didn't exist in my era, and you never even heard of it in yours, right?
Supermodels.
Yeah.
But it was cigarettes, cocaine, and grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's what supermodels did. We call fasting.
Yeah. So listen, so a breakfast, I would have 20 egg whites, couple whole eggs, 2 slices of Ezekiel bread, which is a flourless bread. I'd have a cup of coffee, a big bowl of oatmeal or grits or cream of rice. It kind of varied. But I would eat, my goal for each meal was to have around 75 grams of protein, and I would have about 150 to 200 carbs per meal, okay, which is outrageous. I was eating 1,000 grams of carbohydrates a day. And even on a contest diet, I'll be honest, like, yes, I had to cut down on the carbs to start the process 4 months out. But as I got down to 8 weeks forward into the contest, I would probably eat 1,000 grams of carbs a day because my body was just burning so much. Because remember, my output went from off season, I just trained once a day. I would, push heavy weights. My body weight would climb up like close to 300, say 290. And I wasn't doing as much output. But when I would get ready for a contest, I would add 2 cardio sessions in a day. So I'd get up in the morning, I'd do, an hour or 45 minutes of cardio work. I'd eat a meal or two, go to the gym, train once, come home, eat a meal or two, go back to the gym, train another time with weights, eat 2 more meals, and then another cardio session for an hour before I went to bed. So it was 4 times a day that I was blasting my metabolism with weight training or cardio. And listen, the weight training there was such an output on that, meaning I was training with so much core and intensity. You burn way more calories than you could ever burn on a step mill or treadmill. And don't get me wrong, we never ran. We weren't running, right? Because the weight on the joints would be too much. We did, steady treadmill work, bike work, elliptical. Step mill ended up being the best thing for me. So the rotating stairs, that's what brought in the conditions for our back.
Still the best. To this day, like there's a gym down the street that I joined because they had a step mill. Because there's nothing that hits it like that thing.